Welcome back to Two Down Territory. Today we're going to be doing a live draft of NFL head coaches 1 through 5. I get 5 picks. Adam gets 5 picks. Let's get into it.
2 inches short, maybe less. Story of my life. It's been a while since he's seen a hole that big.
If you say he's a bust and you end up right, it's not because you're some genius. It's because you got lucky.
How I feel, man? Tell me how I feel, El Freaky.
We pray that these bird 30s would nourish us and allow us to throw the ball.
They got to go get this bread.
If you suck, you might as well suck with purpose. And so... This is going to be fun, dude, because not a lot of people pay attention to head coaches, and it's time to give them some love because they matter too, right?
They do.
Matter too.
I don't know. That's a bit of a straw, man. I don't know if there's many people out there who would say that head coaches don't matter.
It's not that they don't, obviously everyone knows that head coaches matter, but are they going to dedicate an entire video in the middle of the season to drafting head coaches? No. Because they don't see the vision. They don't understand.
They don't. So the way that this is going to work,
they just don't get it.
We each get 5 picks, 10 head coaches total. Adam will get the first pick, and we aren't doing snake style. Adam gets the first pick because as of right now, this moment, it won't be this case for much longer. Adam is currently leading in our little point game that we're playing for NFL predictions. So Adam, without further ado, if you kind of want to explain what your thought process was for this draft before announcing your first overall pick.
Yeah. So for this draft, we're kind of assuming like a somewhat of a timeline. Obviously it's who the coaches are right now, but there's also a certain level of like how long will we be able to retain these coaches in this hypothetical world where we're a GM,
yes,
hiring head coaches. But with that being said, I feel like there's a 101 pick here. The unanimous number 1 head coach within the league, 4-time Super Bowl winner, most wins for 2 separate franchises. Give me Big Red, man. Give me Andy Reid, the dog himself.
Wow. I was not expecting that to be your number 1 overall pick, but
Why?
Well, I mean, he's a 67-year-old man, but I respect that.
He can go to 77.
He could go to 77. I mean, what I'll say, I would not hire Andy Reid if it was at this point right now, if the situation was an utter dumpster fire, the way that the Raiders did with Pete Carroll. But the style and the demeanor of Big Red is much more sustainable to older age than a lot of other peers that have reached his age and beyond. So yeah, I mean, it's undeniable.
And the one thing about older head coaches is there's always this question mark related to, is he going to be able to adapt to the changes of the NFL? And Andy Reid has been able to do that flawlessly. And so, yeah, no, I'm taking Andy Reid. He's the best coach in the NFL.
Man, he's my GOAT. I love him. Shout out to Andy Reid. Sad that I don't have him on my team. I was expecting to get him at number 2 overall pick. But for my first pick of the NFL head coach draft, I'm taking the obvious number 2, Sean McVay. He's not even. You ready for this?
I was hoping you'd do something stupid.
What? Why? In fact, I'll go ahead and peel back the curtain. Sean McVay is number 1 on my draft board.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sean McVay, you ready to be amazed? He's not even 40 years old yet.
I know. I'm aware.
He rebuilt a meandering franchise. He's a complete football visionary, and he's a true leader of men. I mean, I'm hiring these coaches based off of, yes, a 5-year vision, but that's just the foundation for a guy like Sean McVay. I get to project out 2 decades of success potentially with this man. Give me Sean McVay as my first overall pick to start a franchise.
Yeah, no, I think that's the right pick. I think that it makes sense. That's why I wanted him to fall to 3. So now I have a question, right?
Hmm?
Do I want to continue this trend of like kind of older head coaches, you know what I mean, that are well established, or do I want to start, with my second pick, the third overall pick? Do I want to pick a guy who I have faith in, who you actually kind of turned me on to? For the
Oh
third overall
no.
pick, I'm taking Mike McDonald. Uh,
Whoa.
the defensive Sean McVay, as you like to say. Obviously, he was incredible with Baltimore. And the main reason why I'm taking this pick is just because of how much I love Seattle and how they play football right now. I think that if this is my head coach, my defense is solidified, that all I have to do is make competent decisions. Really, all you have to do if you're the GM and Mike McDonald is your pick is just every year try to pick the best players from Georgia, Alabama, LSU, those types of schools, and generally you'll be pretty good. It's the floor that you establish for the defense, which I think is so important. And that's why I'm taking Mike McDonald as the third overall pick.
I had a hard time because I built my draft board multiple times. In my first go through, I had Mike McDonald at my number 4 overall on my draft board, and we can get a little bit into that later. But there are many worlds in which I do not dislike that pick. In the same way with McVay, he's 38 years old, I believe. He's brilliant. You can be licking your chops at a potential 20
Oh my gosh.
years of Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
It's hard to go against you there. I, however, am going to pair not with Sean McVay as a young guy, not with an old man, but the 50-year-old Mike Vrabel for my number 2 pick. He is poised to succeed with even just competent QB play. He's a versatile hire for pretty much any situation. If you threw him to the Browns, I'd have faith that he could restore them to competency. If you put him on Philadelphia right now, I'd say they're the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Like I'm in on the leadership and the poise and the core and stability that Mike Vrabel brings to an organization. Give him to me at my number 2 pick, the number 4 overall pick.
Yeah, no, I don't hate that. I think that Vrabel is an incredible coach. I think that he knows how to win. Um, and he was around this area on my draft board, but I had one guy ahead of him. And this is going to be the guy that I'm taking. There were a lot of doubts this year, right? There were a lot of doubts about whether or not he'd be able to sustain a team, even though most of his coaching staff has left. And yet, he was able to completely rebuild that coaching staff. His defensive coordinator that he hired looks incredible. The offensive coordinator that he hired is doing just enough. And people don't give him enough credit for how he established the dominance that is the Lions offense. Give me Dan Campbell, because he is a guy who was doubted this year. And one thing you said in the offseason that I think is true is that if Dan Campbell and the Lions, given the coordinator changes, can win their division, he has to be on the Mount Rushmore of current football head coaches. And I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And right now it's looking like the Lions have a good shot at winning that division. So with the number 4 overall pick, or no,
number 5.
the number 5 over. Why can't
Let's
I
get all the
figure this
numbers
out?
in there.
We're barely into this. The number 5 overall pick, I'm picking Dan Campbell.
What I have in my notes for the Dan Campbell draft board is the shortest of any of the head coaches I have on here, which is he rebuilt the Lions.
Yeah.
I mean,
not only that, he's a freaking dog. He's going to be, dude, like, I have Andy Reid, this, offensive savant of a head coach. Mike McDonald, the opposite of that, right? A defensive savant of a head coach. And then I have a guy who's going to rally the troops, who's going to get the guys fired up. Players first, baby. Dan Campbell, man. I'm building a complete roster here with head coaches.
It's hard to go against that. The only thing that Dan Campbell that kept him lower on my draft board than some of the other names we've said so far, and just one spot below the name I'm about to say, his bipolar coaching style, ironically, can make him one-dimensional, where it's like
Sure.
his erraticness there, but I mean, it is hard. You could be getting value taking him at number 5 overall. It is hard to dispute that. I, with the number 6 overall pick, my third pick, am taking a man 45 years of age who took, get this, Adam, he took Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo to Super Bowls. Give me Kyle Shanahan. I mean, it's almost impossible to have a discussion about any head coach in this league without some sort of connection to the Shanahan tree. And this man is in the roots of that. His father passing it on to him. It might be a slight to him that I don't have him higher on my board. I really love Kyle Shanahan and what he can do for a franchise. If you give the man a good defensive coordinator to pair him with, a team is at minimum on the outskirts of contention. And I know he has the big game issue, that big game being the Super Bowl. But if I'm a GM, that's a risk I'm willing to take. Give me Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I think that the only reason Dan Campbell was ahead of him was just simply, for me at least, was simply because of the big games. And both of them have those issues. Just Shanahan has been more consistent with that issue. Either way, he was the next pick. If you wouldn't have picked him, I would have picked him. He's the right move for you. But
Fair.
Next, it's time to pick the guy who's a whisperer. He is a whisperer of men, of a position that, is the most, pretty much ask anyone, it's the most valuable position in the sport of football. He has the ability to take names such as Sam Darnold and totally transform how he views the game of football. Take names like Daniel Jones and turn him into Indiana Jones by just being in the room with him. Former Coach of the Year, Kevin O'Connell, is coming to my side with the 7th overall pick. I got to take him. I just love him so much.
It's hard to dispute that. This seems kind of the perfect spot for him to land. Kevin O'Connell. He's just an exceedingly above average coach, not like great knocking on the door of amazing. I don't know if I would put him in amazing yet, but he's perfectly in that category. I don't have many negative things to say about him. I hope one day he gets a quarterback that he doesn't have to completely revive. I hope he gets a quarterback that he doesn't have to build utterly from the ground up.
Here's what I'll say. You want to give Kevin O'Connell a challenge? Send Anthony Richardson his way. See what happens.
Oh, my goodness. If he does that, I'll put him at the number 1. I don't care.
Take him immediately.
I legitimately, that might be the most impressive thing that any head coach has ever performed.
Has ever done. Yeah.
You put me in an interesting situation here. After that, my drafts board really starts. There's a decent gulf. I've got a few guys, but I'm going to stick with my gut and I'm going to stick with the draft board that I set for the next available. Give me the stoic, yet somehow also completely erratic leader of men. It's a situational hire, but he is a floor raiser of all floor raisers, even if he maybe has a ceiling. Give me Jim Harbaugh.
Mike Tomlin. Oh.
Those are the two that I was fighting between, but I will take Jim Harbaugh because I don't know. The vibes with Jim Harbaugh are immensely better at all times.
Way better. Yeah, no, I like that pick. He was the next guy on my draft board. So this
Stop
is my
stealing
last pick.
moves.
I didn't. You picked him. So yeah, you're right. Like, this is where we're at the point where it's like, man, there's a lot of guys that I could take. There's a lot of guys that I could take a swing on. And so I'm kind of lost, and right now I'm stalling because there's two guys in my mind and I can't decide who I'm going to pick.
The clock is ticking. I mean, you
Yeah,
might have to
I would
forfeit
like
your
the-
pick.
No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, no, pull what was it, the Ravens, or was it the Vikings who did that?
The Vikings.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to go with my gut. I'm going to pick a guy who's eerily similar to your previous pick. Stoic, leader of men, has a Super Bowl, has an incredibly high floor, consistently can build a team that looks incredible. And I'm picking No, I'm not picking Mike Tomlin. I'm picking John Harbaugh. I'm picking his brother, John Harbaugh.
Okay. Those are the guys that are Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, and Mike Tomlin are all in that range for me. I don't disrespect that. 17 years of head coaching experience at the NFL. He's not too old to execute a 5-year vision. And you would think that that would leave me the boring, you know where it's coming. Okay, I guess I have to take Mike Tomlin. But screw it, man. I don't care if it's prisoner of the moment. There are at least 10 teams in the league right now who, if the owner of the team looked at a photo of their head coach and slowly panned their head over to a photo of Shane Steichen, they would sigh.
That's the pick. That's the move. That's who I was thinking about. Dang it. Now I kind of wish I would have picked him.
I really thought that's where you were going. I'm getting Shane Steichen at 3 years from now, when we're looking back at this video and we're old men, Adam, we might say that I got the biggest value pick of this draft. The number 10 overall head coach, my final pick of the draft, Shane Steichen.
Shane Steichen, man. Just done an incredible job with the Colts. His offensive scheme has shined. The main reason why I didn't pick him is obviously, one, I think John Harbaugh is more established as a head coach, but more
to say the least.
Yeah. More importantly, I just don't know how much, like, their offensive line, like, the reason why it's so sustainable is because they have the best offensive line in the league. What does that look like when they have the third best offensive line in the league? That's a question that I think needs to be answered. Of course, you could say, like, well, what does it look like when they don't have Daniel Jones and they have a quarterback who's better than that, right? So, you can go back and forth, but I don't hate the pick. I really like Shane Steichen and what he's done this year. But either way, I won overall.
According to my draft board, I won. But that's neither here nor there. Why don't you give me your 5, 1 through 5. List them off for me, Adam.
Andy Reid, Mike McDonald, Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell. I can't make a 4. Kevin O'Connell, John Harbaugh.
I have Sean McVay, Mike Vrabel, Kyle Shanahan, Jim Harbaugh, and Shane Steichen. I went a little bit more youthful, took maybe some more I don't know if I would say I took more swings, but it's a little NFL hipsterish of me.
Yeah,
my 5 head coaches.
Right now.
That's the mood. That's the persona I have for this week. But for you, I mean, that's a murderer's row right there, with the exception of Mike McDonald as a very big swing, I'll admit. But the fact that you then immediately follow up Mike McDonald and still get Dan Campbell, that's pretty impressive. That's good good value.
I know my opponent. I did my research.
It's a tough lineup. Now, here's the question. These 5 men versus your 5 men, all
fight
out,
to the death.
bare naked, oiled up, fight to the death.
That is not the scene I expected you to set. That changes things from my original perception of what this battle would look like.
Dan Campbell might go rogue and kill all other 9.
Not everyone. He has no team. He's just gonna hold a bag of kneecaps at the end of it. Oh my gosh. Well, with that, subscribe, like the video.
Give us your thoughts on who would win that battle.
See you later, guys. Oh my gosh.